We are here at the Business of Comedy conference in Melbourne, and we are recording here in the StudioPod. I'm Cristina Canters, and I'm really excited to be here with Joanne Tyndale, who was one of the attendees at the conference. And we're jumping in here into the StudioPod to have a chat about your work. Now, you are a writer and a researcher. You're doing a PhD in screenwriting.
That's right.
What brings you to the event today, first off?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. What I'm really interested in learning about how to write comedy, because I'm really interested in addressing sort of the representation of older women on screen, which is what I'm researching, and sort of presenting it in a, like a light-hearted manner, so that we can generate conversations and debate around how older women are represented in sort of gendered, ageist ways on screen.
Mm-mm. What prompted you to get interested in this topic?
Oh, that's a really good question, because I went to film school. I started at the age of 49 and turned 50 in my first year of film school. And what I really noticed was the lack of representation on screen that, of women that sort of was my age. There was very much what you could see on screen were women who were portrayed in, ageist, gendered ways, in terms of being eccentric or, like wacky old ladies. They were sort of portrayed as being sort of senile and frumpy. And to me, that wasn't authentic representation. And then what happened in 2018 was that 3 of my older female friends became homeless, and they ranged in age from sort of 45 to 78. And what I wondered about was that connection between how older women are portrayed on screen and how they're sort of treated in real life. So the reason for then continuing my research was that if we can write more authentic, more diverse older female characters and see them on screen, then perhaps we can go away towards, shaping attitudes and beliefs in society towards older women, like improving that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So you were 49 when you went into film school. What work have you, undertaken since then?
Well, I'm 62 now, so I've been doing my PhD for the last 4 years. But in the meantime, like last year, I wrote a play for the Brisbane Anywhere Festival and directed it and produced it, and it was about ageing dairy cows.
Okay.
So sort of couching that seriousness of representation for older women and portraying ageing dairy cows sort of dealing with the loss of usefulness when they turn 55. And then I also worked with a friend and I directed a documentary which was on SBS, so May Speak More Chinese. And I also sort of worked in production as design as well. So I started back in 2013 and worked with one of my teachers in production design and as a design assistant.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. What was that like, producing or directing a play?
It was something that I'd never done before, and I'd never written a play before. And what happened was that I woke up very early one Saturday morning and I picked up my phone, as you do, and I saw that the Anywhere Festival, they'd had a call out for ideas and it was closing that day, and I thought, I've got an idea. So I had breakfast and I went into the study and I just wrote it all up and submitted it. And then in 2 days' time they said, we love your idea, you're in. And then I thought, oh gosh, I haven't written it yet. I've got to write it and I've got to direct it and I've got to produce it. But it was the most fun I've ever had, and I worked with a friend who was a production designer, and then I had 4 cast members, and that was just they were a wonderful team to work with, and I had the best time.
Did you have contacts in the industry before hand?
Well, my friend is a production designer who
Right.
was also used to be my teacher.
Okay.
So, and she's a very good production designer. She used to work in Melbourne. So it was a collaboration really, because she was able to take the ideas that I had. And, that's what I love about that teamwork, is that, like the team takes the ideas and they, we build on it together, and it becomes, the sum is much greater than the individual parts. And we transformed a white, because the play took place in an old paint factory in Brisbane, and we had like this white room, and that, my friend, Georgina Greenhill, we were able to transform that into this wonderful space that had like green grass growing around all the sides, and a blue walls, like sky blue walls, and white clouds.
Yeah,
and it was
wow.
a kitchen setting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's so cool. I mean, this is coming from someone like myself I've never even thought about writing a play before. We were just in a writing for stand-up workshop just earlier today, and I really struggled with writing creatively. It's just not something I've been in the habit of doing. So it's phenomenal to write an entire play and also direct it as well. So kudos to you.
Oh, well, thank you. It was only a short play, so it was only like 30 minutes long. And I also worked with a dramaturg as well, because
What's that?
a dramaturg, that helps you, who helps you write the play.
Okay.
Yes.
Like a mentor.
Yes,
support
that's
person.
right.
Okay.
So,
Dramaturg.
I know, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Never heard of that word before.
Because I sort of realised, and then I got a grant from Brisbane City Council, so the Creative Sparks program, of over $16,000, which was really wonderful as well. And it really helped towards, paying the cast salaries and the, art department, the paint that we needed, and costumes, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And of course, like the tech manager, so, staff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we switch
No.
lanes slightly?
No.
Because do you mind if I ask about, your personal experience? Like you talk about when women, as they get older, the way that society treats them, it's, like you're saying, that, there's less visibility, their value is seen, perceived as lesser. Do you have personal experience with that you then put into your writing, or have you seen it happen to? I know you talked about your friends who became homeless. Are there other examples that you've seen that have inspired your writing? I
think it is about that invisibility of older women, and I think certainly, if you, one of the challenges is finding employment if you've lost your job. And what happened to me is that I moved from Canberra back to Queensland when I was 39, and I actually had a job in the public service that I resigned from. And then I found it quite difficult to find another job, at the age of 40, and I had a 4-year-old. So I think that's certainly one of the challenges that I've experienced. And like the reason for going to film school was that I really wanted to be creative, but I'd worked in project management for AusAid for many years, and I really didn't get a chance to explore being creative. And I'd always wanted to go to art school, but my parents wouldn't let me, back in the 70s. And I did sort of think briefly about doing law, because I thought, well, I'm interested in law, and that would be really interesting as well, and certainly there'd be, job opportunities. But then I thought, well, doing film really feeds into that creative side of me, and I thought it would be probably a lot more fun than law. So it is about, I think it is about, creating opportunities for yourself as well, but you also have to pursue what you're interested in and what feeds your soul.
I think that a lot of women, especially when they have children, they tend to put themselves last, and anything that they want to do just for themselves takes a real backseat. And I personally believe it's so important to continue, like, if you want to be creative, to find a way to do that for yourself. Otherwise, you just lose sight of who you are and what you even want. I know a lot of women who, like when their kids grow up and leave home, they're left thinking, well, who am I now? I don't know who I am anymore. And so, yeah, I think it's great that you're leading by example and going, what, stuff law, I'm going to go take a creative pursuit.
Yeah, I think you're totally spot on there, because, and I think that's sort of part of our culture as well. That women, I think we learn, to be self-sacrificing, but I agree with you. I think we really need to nurture who we are as well, because that makes us much better mothers as well. Because we have to pursue what we're interested in, and it's about like who you are as well. Because I think what happened was that I got to 49 and my son was in high school, and I realised that it was time to do something for me, to really and I didn't actually know where that degree was going to take me, but certainly I knew that I wanted to explore that as an option. And it was very challenging actually. But, I've learnt so much in that, in that time, over that time, and doing it part-time over the 8 years, I was able to sort of consolidate a lot of those learnings as well, and get better at writing. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to women who might be in a similar position? So maybe they've sacrificed a lot for their family, maybe their kids are a little bit older now, teenagers, they've now find themselves with a bit more time, their kids more independent, and they're thinking of, I really want to do something creative, something different, something that really lights me up, but I'm not sure how, or I feel I'm too scared. What advice would you have for them?
I think you definitely have to pull that thread and see where it takes you, and perhaps if you're working full-time or you're working part-time, then it's time to sort of explore what else you might be interested. Just, like on a part-time basis, you could do like a short weekend course. And what I did is that I really loved art. I knew that I loved art at high school. So what I did is that I enrolled in a beginner's drawing and painting class at the Brisbane Institute of Art. And that was, a semester-long course. So it was like 3 hours a week for about 18 weeks. And what I discovered was that I really loved it. But not only that, I got to hang out with other, mostly older women, who also loved it as well. So there was that shared interest. And I just sort of found that that's really important, to feeding your soul, and becoming that person, perhaps, that you didn't recognise because it was so long ago since you'd pursued something like that. And I read this quote that said, we don't change as we grow older. We just become more ourselves.
Oh, I love that.
And I just love that, because to me that just really rang true.
Yeah. And I think the whole purpose of living and trying new things is to discover more and more about who you are and the person who you are when faced with big challenges and big life changes as well. And then, and that's why I've really enjoyed getting older. I mean, I joke about how my eye bags are getting worse and all of that, and I blame my kids and that kind of thing. But I really do feel like I am getting wiser and I'm getting more and more comfortable in my own skin the older I get. So yeah, I'm not worried about being invisible, because I'm going to make myself visible no matter how old I am.
I think you're totally spot on again, because I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to we have to go out and do things and not actually let age be a barrier, because or even what other people might say to you, because they might think that, oh, well, you're a bit too old to be doing that, aren't you? So I think
Did you get that when you went to film school, or when you were pursuing these creative avenues? Did you have people say that to you?
It probably it's a little bit more subtle.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
it is
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit more subtle. And I thought that I actually blended in quite well, but of course I didn't. No, like I stuck out like a sore thumb because pretty much everybody else in first year, they was like 17 and 18.
Yeah.
And, like I think for some 17-year-olds, it was probably a bit challenging because, like perhaps I represent sort of parental authority.
Right.
And they weren't so keen. But probably they were also, like were just really worried about working with me, for lots of different reasons. But, like I was lucky that there were a few of like the young students who really liked working with me and really embraced that because, like that we learn from each other. I'm learning, like the technology skills, like videoing and recording and the sound and all those sorts of things. But I think that intergenerational relationships are really important and in conversations as well. Yeah.
Well, Joanne, this has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Would you like to share what you're working on at the moment, or is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
I'm really keen to do another comedy course with the Hard Knocks group because I'm preparing for my first ever stand-up show in Brisbane as part of the Anywhere Festival.
When's that?
That's in May.
Oh, this month, next month.
Yes, that's right.
Very, very happening very soon.
Yes, happening very soon. So I'm really keen to learn as much as I can about stand-up comedy and how to be funny and how to stand up in front of all those people.
Yeah. Well, as an alumni of the School of Hard Knock Knocks, I can attest to the fact that it is extremely terrifying and well worth it at the same time, and such an amazing opportunity for growth. So I wish you all the best with the stand-up and for your performance in Brisbane next month.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Christina.
Joanne Tyndale, where can people find you online if they want to connect with you?
JoanneTyndale.com, my website, and I have a YouTube channel as well.
Also Joanne Tyndale?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Super easy.
And
Beautiful.
of course on Instagram too.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thanks so much, Joanne.
Thank you.
Should we wave to the camera?
Thanks.
Yay. Yay, well done.